It's so I don't know. It's like a measuring tape for a seamstress. You know, when it
Yes,
just
I
goes around
understand.
their body, and then it's each one is marked.
So each breed formula would be different, right?
I don't think so. I think it's I think it's standard. I don't
Mm.
think they come across a lot. He didn't say that he brought out a brown Swiss measuring tape. And when I bought one, it seemed to be universal.
Not the measuring tape, but the formula from the circumference to.
Oh, I didn't take a close look at his measuring tape to see if there were different
No,
lines.
like from the measuring tape to figure out the body weight.
Yeah,
There's the formula, right?
is it? No, the weight is actually written on the measuring tape.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to. It doesn't give you a measurement and then you convert.
Uh-huh.
It's actually
See,
a weight calculating measuring tape.
see.
Yeah.
So you don't have it paved, huh? This barnyard.
It's I
It's
it's
danger of
funny, you know.
slipping.
I paved a road here. I
Yeah, yeah,
did a
yeah.
beautiful gravel road here between their lounge
Yeah.
and they just poop on it, you know. And then I try to keep up with shoveling the dung patties off of it,
Uh-huh.
and I can't keep up, and then it snows and then it freezes and then I can't pick them off. So
Nice.
no, for now it's not paved. It's just a nice gravel road.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the barnyard is regular earth.
Mm-hmm. Can
But
be.
now, yesterday it was very warm and raining,
Uh-huh.
and today is a hard freeze.
So
So
this is
everything is.
this is a bull, our Guernsey bull,
This is a Guernsey heifer now. This is
heifer.
the first one that was born 8 years ago.
Oh, has you have not bred her till now?
No, no, because we didn't. We had two cows milking, and we didn't need any more, so we never bred her. And then when we did attempt to breed her, she might have been too old.
Yeah,
So the vets say that they can't be too old before breeding
yeah,
for
yeah,
the first time.
yeah.
Otherwise, they sort of lose it.
So, you know, I may have to do the implantation or something in the beginning, and then
Yeah.
you can pick up. Oh, embryo implantation.
Oh, embryo implantation. Oh, we've
Yeah,
never tried that.
yeah. Especially try with. I was talking to the vet, and he said that better try with a small-bodied embryo first. Like Guernsey is already small-bodied, but maybe
Yeah.
even like some Indian breed or something, or I mean maybe Jersey even. If you find a line which is smaller, or even Guernsey smaller, just in because he says the pelvic bones haven't formed enough, so it will become first baby, first delivery will be tough with then it will expand and it will become okay.
If
Wow.
they're older, you mean
Yeah, yeah,
for heifers that have waited too long?
yeah, we have the same problem.
Oh, well, our problem was they just could never get pregnant.
From normal ones, yeah, but if he says that's what will happen is we may have to do it.
Oh, right. Okay, so next step would
But
be
embryo
implanted
implantation
embryo.
with a smaller bone, smaller, smaller.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. When we impregnated Chintamani, one other brown Swiss that just gave birth this week, actually, on
Oh,
Monday.
uh-huh.
We made sure she was impregnated with a very small sire, brown
Oh,
Swiss, but very small,
okay.
to make sure that the baby came out small. and then the baby would, a lot of them they like to breed up, but we were sort of in the mood of breeding down
Yeah, yeah,
so that they're not so big
yeah, yeah,
because they're really unnecessarily big.
yeah.
Well, for us anyway.
Yes, yes. Okay. Let us start, Prabhu. I'll,
Yes, thank you.
huh?
I'll throw. Oh, you want
No, no,
me?
thank you very much. I wanted to see. It's beautiful. It
It's a
looks good.
wonderful
The
morning today.
snow and yeah, I mean the sunlight and mm. See the vet many times told us don't keep the barnyard at all with any ice because he has seen many times the slippage and then breaking the bones and then it becomes so untenable.
Yeah, well, there's not really any ice anywhere.
Oh, okay.
No, there's no ice. Well, I let I did leave the water trough overflow a little bit the other night, so there is
Okay.
a tiny little patch of ice here,
I see, I see, I see.
the one I showed you,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
it kind of pooled and froze.
I see, I see. Yeah, sometimes it happens.
Otherwise, it's just hard frozen dirt.
Okay, okay, great. Otherwise, snow
Yeah.
or mulch or some shaving, wood shavings or something, you know what to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, they have a big, large lounge to hang out in.
Yeah. Inside?
Otherwise, they just traverse slowly. We have a big covered lounge, which with a
Uh-huh.
nice soft, soft bedding
Okay.
for them to hang out. But they like to wander around.
Of
It's a
course.
huge area
Yeah,
to keep.
yeah. What's the temperature now?
It would be about -10, -10 Celsius
Right
or
down.
centigrade.
Guernseys may
Yeah.
find it a little tough, huh, in the winter, and little bit
They-
more than more than these brown Swiss. Brown Swiss are made for this weather.
yeah. Yes. Well, I haven't seen any problems. One last year, one cow had a little bit of frostbite on a super 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 cold, on a little bit on the tip of her teat, on one of her teats. That was
Amazing. Maybe they have become adapted to this line, and
yeah yeah. Maybe. But we have the milkers that are in the barn to be a little more sheltered.
okay, okay.
But they show that they want to go out actually. Most of the time most of the time they actually want to be out in the cold. Yeah.
I know that's how our cows are too. Okay, so
Okay, Prabhu.
let me start with this. So since we hear from Srila Prabhupada so much, Go Brahma, Namo Brahmane Devaya, Go Brahmanitaya cha Jagadita Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. That Krishna, Govind, in his form of Govinda, he takes care of cows and brahmanas. And brahmanas need the milk because it brings the fresh milk, because it brings the yes, Prabhu is live streaming on YouTube. So it brings the the brain tissue in the brain by which one can understand and the Vedic literatures, the discriminatory power between matter and spirit. That I've been going through a lot of heavy stuff here in Florida, and I was seeing how my mind is becoming more matter, and then it just like one doesn't even realize when one is in material consciousness, one doesn't even realize it, like how much one is in matter, how much one is in spiritual consciousness. And that discriminatory power is, of course, chanting develops the most, but there is a fuel to it. It's like one can live naturally with fresh cow's milk. In the brain, substance becomes better, easier and easier to like ignite with chanting. Just that alone is not sufficient in Kali Yuga, because sattva guna gets so much polluted by so much of passion and ignorance. But the chanting can so easily ignite it, and one can become like clear like sun just by a little chanting. So fresh milk. from the cows is like essential for any Vaishnava devotee, any Brahmanically inclined devotee. Of course, Vaishnava devotee, we have hear from Srila Prabhupada, they become Brahmanas on the way to become a Vaishnava. So it is imperative. Without that, the Vaishnava culture, the devotee culture, the whole Krishna consciousness movement is very difficult to spread. We can see so much devotees in all around the world, so much in material consciousness, like Mishra Bhakti. And one reason could be this too. It's a whole component. Of course, chanting can overcome every single thing, but it's just difficult. More and more it becomes difficult, especially if the chanting is not pure, then it is even more difficult if the fresh milk of the cow is not being drunk daily, morning, evening, or especially from childhood. And of course, that is the most important function of the milk. And then the other thing is, of course, all the nutrients, all the bodily, the physical body, also, mind, intelligence, and all the physical gross body also. It gets all the nutrients necessary. Srila Prabhupada says it's the whole milk, whole food. It is, and it is always drunk from every culture we see around the world, or most of the cultures, the babies, they are given cow's milk right after the mother's milk. And so it's so many of these arguments which are going on now, no? That we are taking away the milk of the calf, and we can discuss that, but this is all not correct. So these are the two most important reasons why we need cow's milk, fresh cow's milk in our Krishna consciousness movement. Anything to add, Prabhu? Ramananda Prabhu, in this?
No, sorry, I had my phone in my pocket, so I had it muted
Sure, sure, sure.
just because I'm
Of
just
course, of
sort of
course.
doing my chores here.
Understand. Yes.
I think you covered it, Prabhu. I don't have anything to add at the moment.
Mhm. And the other thing is about the association of the cows themselves. So one is milk. Of course, ghee, Srila Prabhupada talks about, and for health and for fire sacrifices, he was doing fire sacrifices, which is not so important now, but for the whole lubrication of all the dhatus and all the whole joints, everything, it is the ghee is most essential. The best cooking oil. So the food, I mean, physically one can remain quite healthy now. The sacrifice is not important. So milk, ghee, and all the other products which satisfies the tongue. Especially Shri Prabhupada talks about how human being has kind of, it seems like he has a tendency to drink cow's milk, sorry, cow's blood and flesh, cow's blood. One is made like that, but one can purify one's consciousness to take the blood of the cow in the form of the milk. It's a transformation. Milk, cow's milk is a transformation of our blood. And yeah, could be that too.
No,
And
bro, I can tell one thing for this.
of course, Prabhu, anybody.
Yeah, see, I feel this very strongly because if we don't take cow's milk, means the whole economy around the cow falls down. So now for the farmer, the cow is not so economical. So the only option left for the farmer is to sell it. And who benefits? The beef company benefits from that. So this
Mhm.
whole propaganda, this whole cycle, vicious cycle, to not that you take the the milk is meant for the calf and not for us, by completely by the mafia. I feel so that they get more and more cow in their slaughterhouses, and they can earn from that.
Mhm. Very correct, Prabhu. Mm. India is the biggest beef exporter. No? It's such a
Well, the government says that we are not exporting cow's beef, buffalo. They're saying not the cow. So that latest, in the Lok Sabha, the government made this statement that we are cows. This meat is beef is completely banned. We are not doing that. We are doing buffalo. So that I think is called beef only. That's why it said that India number one beef, but they are not doing cow. They are saying that.
It is for the political thing they have to tell, no? Where are all the cows being dead and being going? So many cows, babies are being born. I mean, it's
So
just
that is another issue because India, a lot of illegal thing is there. No? So even if there's a ban, there's a whole illegal thing going on. So that with corruption and all, you can't control that in India.
so. And of course the milk and the ghee is the importance Srila Prabhupada talks about, and also then he talks about the association of the cows themselves. The why it is important is because we as human beings, we we are made in a sense because we are made in the image of God, and God loves cows as companions. And so we also, when we are made to love cows and protect them and be with them and love them, make them as part of our family members. And cows good quality, because Srila Prabhupada talks about how there is in Padma Puran, there is this some statement that three kinds of entities, they graduate into human body from all this evolution cycle, and one of them is cows, where from the cows one gets into the sattva guna bodies. So I have seen that myself. When the first time I was in Jaipur, and the temple, they just got cows, and the first time when I was 30-year-old, the first time I sat near a cow actually. And then when I sat near a cow, suddenly all my, like, oh, so much passion, immediately, like, I felt it, physically felt it. And then I realized, oh man, these cows are so in Sattva. And just by being near them, one feels peaceful and situated like evenly and just like grounded, and just just think everything is all right in the world. Just like there is nothing more to be done. Just be peaceful. There is no anxiety in this world. So now this is cow cuddling and all. This is actually a fact that when one comes near a cow, this association would keep the Brahminical culture more. That like Krishna himself, every day in the morning he goes to take care of the cows, and then evening, and so he's showing us. Even in Dwarka, he was doing that. So a Brahminical culture means one needs to be near the cows, not just for their milk and ghee, but also just being near them daily basis. Otherwise, the mode of goodness will be tough to maintain in this world. And that's why I see, and Srila Prabhupada kept talking about how the most everybody should live on the farm. He kept talking about being in mode of goodness. Even in the last recorded conversation is that. And the other thing he talked about is the city people should go to the farm regularly to recharge, and of course to holy places in India. And I've seen that myself when we were doing Sankirtan party, like going around. It was we in the city a whole day long, like big cities. And it was so tough being in the big city, and especially for brahmacharis, all the Maya, everything is so tough there. And then if one, like weekends, or like Monday, Tuesday, we would stay on the farm. We were in let's say in New Orleans. So Mississippi farm is just 1 hour away, New Taliban. We would go there, stay with some devotees, and it was just so so relief, such a relief and recharging. And then felt like by Wednesday, okay, now we feel like Wednesday, Thursday, come back to the city to preach. That's how I would like that we keep our Varnashrama colleges like that, just an hour away from city, 1.5 hours. maximum 2 hours, so that one would be able to go back to recharge. And the cows are the biggest part of the association because of the sattva guna they create all around them. And the third thing is about creating auspiciousness, which it's like more of us, much more esoteric thing, but it's a fact. Why? Because of Krishna's personal attention to the matter. It is coming from Krishna's, Namo Brahmana Devaya, his personal example, and of course, whoever is more devoted, he is more devoted to them. So anyone who takes care of the cows all around, it creates a lot of auspiciousness all around. There is never any inauspiciousness one can happen in the place where cows are, which is there in a Krishna book. Maybe we can read that little bit. It talks about how Mother Yashoda was fully.
Prabhu, I think you're referring to when Krishna came into danger, and then they were going through the trouble of throwing the dust from the hoofs of the calves or the cows onto his body to give him all protection.
Yeah, this is Putna's killing. When
Yeah,
the
Putna's
gopis
killing.
saw Lord Krishna fearlessly playing on Putna's lap, they very quickly came and picked him up. Mother Yashoda, Rohini, and other elderly gopis immediately performed the auspicious rituals by taking the tail of a cow and circumambulating his body. The child was completely washed with the urine of a cow, and the dust created by the hooves of the cows was thrown all over his body. This was all just to save little Krishna from future inauspicious accidents. This incident gives us a clear indication of how important the cow is to the family, society, and to living beings in general. The transcendental body of Krishna did not require any protection. But to instruct us on the importance of the cow, the Lord was smeared over with cow dung, washed with the urine of a cow, and sprinkled with the dust upraised by the walking of the cows. Look at that. God, creator of the whole universes. And then she chanted the holy names of Lord Vishnu. Mother Yashoda was firmly convinced of the Vedic injunctions about the importance of the cows and the holy name of Vishnu. Therefore, she took all shelter in the cows and the name of Vishnu just to protect her child Krishna. She recited all the holy names of Vishnu so that he might save the child. Vedic culture has taken advantage of keeping cows and chanting the holy name of Vishnu since the beginning of history, and persons who are still following the Vedic ways, especially the householders, keep at least 1 dozen cows and worship the deity of Lord Vishnu who is installed in their house. So, how many cows do you have, Prabhu? Ramananda Prabhu?
Yes, we have 9 now. We're
Okay.
on our way.
You
There
have
was
to
a
chant the
funny
holy name.
Oh, here's one. Here's one that's well, here's the newest ones. He's where are we? How do you see him?
Okay. Wow.
Can you see him?
Yeah. Which breed is he?
This is Black Angus.
Wow. Angus. Angus doesn't give too much milk, no?
No, it's just he's a bull.
Why did you want to get a Angus breed?
We bought one cow from a dairy, and as far as we knew, it was not pregnant. But then the farmer wrote us. They don't. Oh, by the way, it is pregnant after all. So
Which cow
so
did you buy?
it was this one Guernsey over here.
Oh, she had a Angus bull inside, huh?
She had well the farmer who I know sort of a he has an Angus bull.
I see.
So she's right here.
So,
Sachi
oh,
Devi.
Sachi
Sachi
Devi.
Devi.
Beautiful, huh? I love Guernseys.
Yeah,
Really
that's Vrinda. She's the oldest. She's about 10.
looks
She
like.
must be she must be almost 11 years old.
Uh-huh.
The furthest one.
Mm.
Whereas this most recent, her name is Vrinda, and Sachi Devi is almost 11 years old now.
Vrinda
Yeah.
is the daughter of Sachi Devi or a different
Vrinda,
one?
no, Vrinda is the no. She came from a different farm.
Okay.
About 8.5 years ago.
Mhm. So all these, so first was the milk for the brain, for the is distinguishing the base for material matter and mineral. Second is the just the association themselves of the cows, meaning sattva. And then the third is for them to be the creating auspiciousness all around. If I missed anything, please correct me. Mm. And they're a big tourist attraction. So for our college and everything, it's like the central place for any farm. Yeah. And economical because it is Krishna has given this to Vaishyas to run. No, let's Krishi Goraksha Vanijyam. That is what Krishna has given to Vaishyas to do. And why did he give it to Vaishyas? Why didn't he give it to Brahmanas to protect? Why didn't he give it to Kshatriyas to protect? Why did he give it to the Vaishyas to protect? See, it's like uh, it's so clear, no, that it's by the economic development how cows are protected, will be protected. And they are not meant to be like a showpiece or some kind of a way to enhance one's religiosity. Um, but as the main purpose is the main way they will be protected is if they are economically it is beneficial to the protector, and then that is utilized by everyone in the society, that protection. Just like Krishna's foster father, Nanda Maharaj, he was doing. All of his friends, all of his relatives, they were all cowherd men protecting the cows, the Vaishya community. And they were rich, they were following all the regulative principles of Vaishnavism, and they were. So this is the big problem now that why are cows not being protected? And the biggest reason is financial, because Vaishyas need to do that. Vaishyas haven't figured out how to protect the cows by making them not kill them, not do anything, which is unethical and harmful to the cows, without without by without going into losses. So whether it's the right direction they have not gotten, or it's just the way the world is working, or it is just some demoniac tendency which doesn't want to do it, whatever the reason, this is how it is. So when Srila Prabhupada gives the instruction to us that our cow protection in India, he says our cow protection in India should be the ideal in the world. I took that to heart. Know that he wants it ideal of the world, not just among the devotee little community. He wants it for the world to see how cows can be protected and financially be viable too, because a Vaishya needs to do it. And so since last 15 years, I've been trying different ways to get to do it. Gauranga Sundar Prabhu knows, how much trying, and he helped me initially. So many things we were doing in India, Jaipur, um, and then in Jaisalmer, everywhere I got defeated, and but I learned a lot by those defeats, by those reverses, trying to understand. The first time I came to understand from Jaisalmer, where they were cowherdsmen, just like in the village in Vrindavan, they were all in Jaisalmer also, they are all dependent on cows. That's their main source of income. And why? Because in the desert area, which is surprising, there are these long grasslands, like the big grasslands, huge, which survive just by a little rain, little, like extremely low. They have like 12 inches of rain in the whole year long. So you can imagine like Arizona here. And those grasslands, they just become like green all around. It's so beautiful to see. Everything becomes like green, like lush green, like Kashmir, like lush green, like northeast. Everything green in those couple of months of rainy season, meaning one time it drops, everything becomes green. Everything, just one grain, small. And that's the kind of grass, and Krishna has made it like that. And so those cows, then they go all around, and of course then the whole year round it's like standing dry grass, yeah, the hay, which then they keep eating, and people save the hay. And so there's a lots and lots of hay all around there still, like hundreds and thousands of acres is just freely available. So that's where I learned, got my first chops in how to do cow protection, what it means, the whole economics of it, the management of it. And when we came back to US in 2014, 12, 14, I really wanted to try to do a model, and try to like discover a model, what will the plan, what will work. So over since 2016, when we got this farm in New Paltz, we started to get into more and more trying to figure out how to make it work. I did a lot of trial testing, this thing, that thing, so many things we have done. And gradually, I started forming a way to develop a model. What Srila Prabhupada would say, it is the it is the model for I want to says our cow production program says in India. I've implemented it here. I'm trying to do it here because I understood that the funding, the scientific research facilities, the media, the infrastructure is in the US. I want to do it in the US more than in India. The wide awareness and the credibility what one will get, especially doing it in New York, especially doing it with testing research of with Cornell, that credibility would be the most in the world, which can actually people would start to listen to it. Oh, maybe we could do it like that. Or in Corner Steady and New York Farm is doing like that. Or in Northeast, it is being done like that in the US. So that's why I thought that this will be the best location to do it rather than in India. And kind of that instruction of Srila Prabhupada I've taken into heart that create our cow production program should be the ideal in the world. So what is that ideal is maybe this is where we are coming to, and this is what I wanted to present. I'm sorry it took such long time, but I was just trying to give a whole background to it, the reasoning behind it, and whys and everything and context to it. Anyone would like to add something, Prabhus? Any critique or any discussion or any additional points?
What is ideal in the sense, is it technology driven ideal, or is it more natural where the cows are happy and happily giving the milk? So what is the criteria of ideal? That is one.
Very good discussion. Let us have this discussion. My viewpoint is that from Krishna's viewpoint, he says, Krishi Goraksha Vanijyam. Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam. Vaishya, meaning the ideal is they should be protected, having economically, it should be beneficial enough for the Vaishya, a dairy or any farmer, that they want to develop this more and more. Their children want to do it more and more. That's the final aim of it. Now, it will encompass automatically a Vaishnava Vaishya does it, then automatically it will encompass all the other benefits also as we are talking about. But it has to start and it has to start and be based around the whole ecosystem has to be around financial sustainability. What do you say?
Financial, yes, that's the most important thing. But in this, how much technology can be utilized, or it should be not technology driven, like like Vedic time we have to do like that. So that I'm trying to understand, because many, I'm seeing in Vrindavan also many goshalas, they are going high tech, really high tech, so in high tech, then to maintain that high tech, then they have to do a lot of compromise also in the long run, because there's a lot of funding and everything, money, monthly money, everything. So how
What
much
high
technology
tech?
we should,
What do you mean by high tech? They are going
A-
in.
AC facility for the cows and all those things, they're doing
Like
so
what
many.
else?
Yeah, I mean, the machines, you know, to remove the milk and everything. That's high tech they're going,
What else?
So yeah, this is what, high tech in Vrindavan. This is high tech.
Acha,
I mean,
acha.
obviously, this is the start, of high tech, in India, because mostly there's no AC rooms for the cows, So there's one Goshala in Vrindavan that is having AC rooms, and they have many stores, stories, like, small place, but 3, 4 stories where they have cows locked up, and complete very nicely. They have AC, everything. And by technology like Akshapatra, that's how the milk is removed and kept and everything. So
Mhm. Okay. See, the principle is financially it should be viable for a Vaishya, not by taking donation. Vaishyas don't take donation, they give donation. So if it is only sustainable by donation, then it is not an ideal. So, that's the final thing. Is it all this donation in the name of cow? This is all not according to Krishna's plan. Donation for the cows is in terms to Brahmanas who are given cows in donation. They are not given money to maintain the cows. Like a Vedic king or a rich man would laugh at a Brahmana if he goes, "Oh, give me money to maintain the cow." This is laughing because cow is producer of wealth. How she will produce wealth is what a Vaishya should figure out. How? And if the environment is not correct or something like Ghosh Char Jameen is not there, this, that, so many things which are happening now, then the Kshatriyas need to step in and make the ecosystem correct so that the Vaishyas can earn. And Brahmana should give direction how to do it. So our cow protection program should be such that we are able to give direction based on Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Also create a model as a Kshatriya kind of a Brahmana and show as a Vaishya how it is done so that other Vaishyas can do it too, like that. And maybe we need to do marketing or policy changes or whatever that we need to figure out because these are all ecosystem creation. But we should not, I mean, having maintaining having a model or maintaining or Vaishyas maintaining a cow a dairy with donations, it's bogus, meaning it's not ashastrik. It's never done because one is not taking the steps to make sure that it is properly ecosystem is being implemented. Like Krishna's servants won't do that. Proper servants, of course in emergency one is doing this, that is one thing, but without trying to implement the system which which Krishna has given, system meaning the social structure, and in that social structure who should protect for what reason, this is not, I don't, I can't wrap my head around all this dichotomy. Let us take up Bharat Prabhu's different things he's bringing up. High tech could be rubbing, massaging devices, and also like what I want to do is there are now Israeli technologies, very, very good, where they keep only like a little thing in the neck which gives all the data of the cows. It comes on the computer about their health, how much they are walking, and if they are in heat. So many things can just, I've seen like everything is coming up on the computer and you can figure out where they are. So that kind of high tech I want to implement. Sprinkler for lowering the heat, that's possible. But best would be this AC and all is required when the cows are not bred and being used on for which climate they are from. And it's because in heat of Vrindavan, the Vrindavan cows are very easily because they just roam around and no problem. And of course, they know how to keep themselves cool. I've been in Jaisalmer all the summer long. We were staying there in 50 degrees centigrade temperature, and the cows knew how to keep themselves cool, and they were giving quite a lot of milk too. So nothing. So when one tries to artificially try to get a different breed for that climate, like people say to me in New York, oh, oh, these are not Indian cows, huh? I said no. Oh, as if it's a problem. I said the Indian cows can't survive here. Oh, you can keep some heater here. I mean, what is this? No, this is not the Lord's plan. Lord's plan is that wherever each and every location is different, and for every location, He has provided a different ecosystem for everybody to live, including the cows of that kind of breed, which can easily. I mean, when it snows, first time our cows like this, our guns, our brown Swiss, they jump up like they're so happy, and the snow is falling. And similarly in India, when it is first rains comes, the cows after the heat they jump up and down like so happy they are. So let's keep going. What is your realization that we should do in context of Varnashrama college if we are not Vaishyas? I think we covered it and we are going to cover it exactly now, Prabhu. Thank you. Very good question. Shall we keep cows as we are Vaishnavas for preaching purposes and learn what a Vaishya needs to learn or not? Yes, of course. This is what we are doing. This is what one has to do. To show a model is Brahmana and Kshatriya roles we have to adopt to do it. but we have to make it such that see, farmers, Vaishyas, they need to see how exactly it is done physically, not esoteric in the thought process, planning. No. Want to see directly how it is done. Okay, they have to watch it. That's how the mode of passion covers so much that one cannot see in the mind this vision. It has to be seen through the eyes. So one has to show it exactly how it is done fully in all its details, and then let them then adapt it. They're very, very good. When is these dairy our dairy farmers all around, they're so like they know everything, like they can adjust their things, but one has to show the direction exactly like this is how it is done. Then they will adopt it and adapt it in different ways and everything. So definitely it is very important. See, preaching purpose and all, the first is keeping cows economically. That itself is a huge deal. That itself is a preaching. That everything will come after that. Without that, there is no cow protection, no? Because it's for Vaishyas to do. When those we need to, what does we need to learn? How would you categorize? What do we need to learn? How do we need to learn? I don't understand this, Prabhu. What is the limit for economic development? What is the minimum for being a viable ethical dairy project? And what would be too much of a good thing oversized? Well, what we need to do as a model is just having, because land, the cows are limited by the amount of land we can have, and so there is a limit. So that's why I don't put so much attention to, oh, we should live simply and like this, like that, because if we are limited by the land, then automatically there is a, that's it, there is a limit to how many we can keep. And we just need to make that dairy as a, what I've been thinking, just want to make the New York farm ethically developing with proper financial positive, like a family is, let's say our family is running and they're living on the farm, maybe 30, 40, 50,000 extra they're earning. So so the children feel, "Hey, if I take this on, because my expenses are already low, I can easily live and maintain a family and give them education and everything." So that much, if they earn without doing any other work, that's good. Most of the dairies in New York, they are in negative, and one of the person has to work outside to subsidize it. So if the dairy, one dairy can be shown that it is working financially, then there is no, many people, because many people, they love farming, especially cows. They don't want to give it up. They just need to know how to make it financially viable. And what does,
That is the question, Prabhu. How to make it financially viable?
coming to it, what does non-Vaishyas need to learn to build and maintain an ethical dairy project? Why would a non-Vaishya want to do, other than a Brahmana and Kshatriya? They would try to create an ecosystem around it and do the research work. That is their job. Otherwise, once it is set up, then the Kshatriya needs to maintain it, like make sure that the environment is doing good. Otherwise, leave the Vaishyas do the job. Others don't need to do the cooperation. Krishna is told like that. Yes, Pradyumna Prabhu, you wanted to have you have a question?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Bhu. So,
Krishna.
Prabhu, as we have seen all the Gaushalas in India, also everywhere, they are generally dependent on they take donation, and because cow protection, because in Vedic time we see that by keeping a cow we can maintain ourselves, but by developing this Gaushala they have to take money from them, and they multiply very rapidly. So how to do the things that, because all over the world, as you were telling, in there New York also, all the farms they are negative. Similarly in India also, even in Rajasthan, the farms, they that na cow protection, these goshalas, they all are taking depending totally on money. So what is the right way to maintain, and so that na? these things can be overcome.
So let us start looking at the model now. Um, this is the exact time we should now do it. I'm 100% certain how it will work, this model, but there may be many differences to what I'm thinking currently. So this is the our New York farm, and it is being cut off, but here is the restaurant, and here is dairy and creamery. One can see. This is the creamery aspect. Anyway. So let us go to what kind of model first, and then we will come to financial because it is connected to it. Is all right. Let's go to this file. Okay. The basic economic model that I am now thinking is like this. With, let's say, 20 cows that if we have, we are going to start with 12 cows. 20 cows when we have, what we are doing is 10% of the revenue of the cows we are putting in a savings account, like a retirement account for them every day. Workers, we have this thing, farm manager, oops, 5,000. Okay, no. Sorry about that. I was just doing some work. Okay. Okay.
That's
So
monthly expense, Prabhu?
yeah, workers, farm manager, all can be all devotees. Right now, the workers are not devotees. And creamery manager also we are trying to get, but we don't have to. We can remove this from here for the time being. Electricity, wet, we don't need so much. Okay. Mechanic supplies, insurance, haymaking experience, 25 is the so you see, in even when with the 10% savings and paying all the workers, everything we get into positive. How? How is that possible? There are two or three key things here. I mean, a few key things. One is we have to sell the milk at I put it at 18, but we are going to make it $20. It'll become even more. $20 a gallon in New York USD. Okay. This will be now $20. A half gallon bottle will be around $10. So biggest thing is to sell the milk at very high cost, maybe 4 times. Now, well, right now the grass-fed organic milk is selling for around $12 in stores. 12 to 13, $14 at stores. We sell for $20, which is not such a huge leap. If we are saying ethical dairy, 10% we are saving, and many other things we are doing to make sure that. So I have a whole program around it. I'll talk to you about that. And there's a whole thing how to develop the customers, this thing. Then second thing is to buy, start with the stock of cows, which is the top class, top class breed adjustment, which breed will go in this, so that's not like AC or heat and all these things we are putting in. They are sturdy, the vet bill is the lowest, because wet otherwise they become quite high, and then the cows become useless in the dairies. They such a huge problem if because they just get any number of cows and they just pump up out anything from what they want. So cows breeds have to be the like best class. Like if you have to pay $5,000 for a cow initially, I don't mind at all, because that is the best investment one can ever do, is get the best cows, not just any cow, whatever. I've experienced that in Jaisalmer. I got all these cows, 100 cows, and I couldn't even maintain them because they didn't produce any milk. They had so many problems, vet problems, this problem. Oh my God. So you have to start every dairy like that, and that was the function of the kings earlier. They would maintain the breeds, the best kind, best breeds, and then they would propagate it all around. That is the economic basis of the villages. If they have, they eat the same, but they are producing three, four, five times the milk, even ethically being produced. That's how we want to do it. Like really high class cows. If they produce this much milk, we have it like how much? 3.5 gallons average we have taken, Ramananda Prabhu. Average per week, which is they get to 6 gallons, 7 gallons, but when the baby is on them, it we take like initially we would take maybe three-fourth of it because baby is too small. As the baby grows, it reduces to half. But then within a couple of months, 3 months, they start eating some more. And by four months, it is the thing. Fifth month onwards, we start reducing, weaning once daily rather than twice daily, and then once in 2 days from the sixth month onward. Like that we wean the baby out, and then so cows we are taking from that 3.5 gallons. Sometimes they're sick, sometimes not available, like that. What do you think,
That's
Ram?
daily, right? That's daily, Prabhu,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. What do you think? 3.5 gallons as the
Well, we just happen to have a situation now where we're getting about from our most recent Guernsey about 4.5 gallons per day, um, and we're giving the calf 1.5 gallons per day.
yeah.
Oh no, we're giving her about 2 gallons or so, but he's already eating hay also. So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, she's giving about 4.5 gallons, and it's supposed to be 2 or 3 months is when they give the most. So about 3.5 gallons, but that's an average, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's a good average. Um, it's not up to the standard of the modern dairies. The modern dairies, it's a minimum 22 liters, which
I
would
know.
be about, that.
It
uh,
divided by 3.78.
it's about 5 gallons, almost 5 gallons. It's sort of the industry standard now.
Yeah, 5.8
When we
gallons.
bought our one brown Swiss, he sold it because she couldn't keep up to 21 liters a day,
Yeah.
and then he found it was not possible to get her pregnant again, so that's
Yeah.
why he decided to sell it.
Right.
But 3.5 gallons, I guess, but it depends on how long they're being milked for, because depending on your model.
Mhm.
We have one cow that we've been milking for 8 years, and she gives half a gallon a day after 8 years. But I'm
And
sure that
even
wouldn't be the
when
plan.
she has a baby?
No, she's only ever had one baby,
Right, 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 right.
and so from that one lactation.
Yeah, yeah.
but that's
So,
totally different.
sure. I understand what you're saying. So,
But just the point of how much to giving the calf in the weaning, it's 2 gallons a day was
mhm.
it's almost half.
You don't let the baby milk directly, suckle directly from the cow?
Well, we do. So what we're doing now is we bottle feed him once a day to develop a bond with him, because since he's a bull, we want him to be really domesticated and used to um, interaction with us, as humans. So to develop a bond, and then we let him suckle um, the other half of the day. So we milk twice, and in the morning he'll suckle directly, and in the evening we'll bottle feed him.
I see. Okay. So that is 3.5 gallons one should take and sell for $20 a gallon. That is the and get the so 3.5 gallon basically is because I mean get the best quality cows, breed cows, best quality, choose the right breed, get the get the right quality of cow and sell for how that sell for higher cost. That is the basis of it. Now, many other guardrails are there that one should increase more than what the land is capable to graze on or produce. If we buy hay from outside, then this economics fail. It won't work. And that was the system from the Vedic times. The Gochar Jamin, like the whole grasslands were there provided by the king, by the state for the cows. It's a common land. And anybody who is responsibly grazing the cows, they should be allowed to go there. So that was the so that is the system. Srila Prabhupada says it's many times that without if you have to buy hay from outside, then you're gone. You cannot maintain it. And he kept saying, buy more land, buy more land, buy more land. And whenever this topic was brought up to him that cows are multiplying, buy more land. So I've been thinking how to buy more land because that's the whole crux of why the cows cannot be maintained many times by the devotee communities. So this 10% saving, no, that is a third part of it that we have to save this 10% from every day of sales. Why? Because this 10% is used as a capital to buy more land. Now you see from 20 cows every month, we would be saving 20 milking cows we are talking about. So there will be another 30, 40 other cows and calves, but we'll come to that. Why it is lesser. Generally in, let's say in Gita Nagari, they have 80, like total 120 will be giving milk and 80 are not giving milk. They are unproductive. Why it is like that? It shouldn't be like that. And why there is a reason behind it. So we come to that too. So this 10% savings, no, that every year will become 50,000, like 12 months for 4,000, around 50,000. In 10 years' time, there will be $500,000. Plus, if one has invested it properly in proper ways, stable ways, secure ways, but proper ways, so then it will also be a little more, so maybe 600,000, maybe a little more. That money, maybe 10 years or 5 years, whenever it depends on how older the cows are when we start this, that money should be used to buy another dairy, which is not being used, which is cheaper. Srila Prabhupada also says that I didn't read that before, but this is the intelligence which Krishna is giving me. And then I read Srila Prabhupada also saying recently, 10 years later than this, when I thought about it. So it's confirmation that it's going in the right direction. Krishna in the heart and Srila Prabhupada, the external, in the direction is also the same. Is it buy more land? Where the day we will read that whole conversation where there are where is cheaper land, where you can buy more land, where you can move the cows to that land which is cheaper, where they're unproductive, can be there. So in Northeast, there are many dairies that have failed. many, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dairies which have failed. I know them personally, many of them. And so we move those cows which are unproductive to those properties, to those dairy farms. And this capital will be used to buy and house, like get the infrastructure going so that it can become a retirement thing for the cows, place for the cows. But for their operational costs, also we demarcate from this cost what we are saving as capital for planting income producing trees and fruits and many things, so that cows are there, they would be feeding all these trees and shrubs, not farming if somebody is not there to do an annual farming, but like permaculture thing, like trees and fruits, like baag bagicha, like orchards, so that like apples, pears, plums, all kinds of American persimmons, papaws, so many other trees, nut trees, pine trees, all these trees and berries, all these we can, should be possible, should be planted and set up nicely with irrigation and mulching and everything, so that they produce income soon enough in a few years. And and if one can buy a land which has some of these income producing, more the better. But from this cow's dung and cow urine and everything, when they are there, those that land will be producing income, because of which they will be maintained. Why they need maintenance? Somebody has to be there. A couple of people have to maintain them with their vet issues, with their nursing, and diseases may come, and they need hay and water, utilities, everything. So that should be possible through the development of these cow. I mean these nuts and fruit trees and other things, and also tourism. If we can develop that, that would be a big draw, that this is like a retirement place for the cows and many other things. These are all things which need to be like really thought of more. Once we do it, more and more things will open, but this is basically a structure of a plan, how to go about doing it. And anyone I have shown it to, they've all said, oh, this could be possible. This is what nice. Any discussion till now, Prabhus, on this topic? On this till now?
I have one question, Prabhu, that came to mind. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Just maybe it's a little early to ask, but you mentioned the other offshoot businesses that could come from it, and I wonder if ultimately you decided or resigned to the fact that milk production alone could not be a viable business model, but the business model would have to be integrated with another one, something outside, such as orchards or whatever it may be. Um, is it acceptable to you that the milk production must be integrated into another sort of broader business model, including high cost or high yielding crops?
So,
I guess that's what I'm curious to see as you
understand what
progress
you're
through the
saying. Thank you.
explanation.
It's a good, very good angle to discuss.
Because one might say, well, that isn't that just another form of subsidization?
Yeah.
But
So, cows, it's like a whole package. They are producing not only milk, and one of the reasons why we keep cows is also because we missed that in the beginning. Is apart from the milk and ghee for the brain tissues and for the association for sattva and for the auspiciousness, another is for the cow dung and cow urine, because that is the input for the vegetables and grains and all the food items. So it has to be integrated. But if we have to show a model for the dairy system, most farmers, they understand, but it is just too much for them to do so many things. Already they are so much, like so much to do just to take care of the cows. So unless they themselves with their larger families, they can see, okay, somebody can do this, somebody can do that, they themselves feel that they want to do vegetable farming and they're farming. We have to make a model. This is not ideal, what Srila Prabhupada would want, and I said, so Vaishnava devotees and devotees who know more or other people, they would incorporate from the beginning the cows and farming together because it's a wholesome homestead model. But if somebody is a dairy farmer, we should also create a model which somebody with little more effort can actually make it work without we telling them, no, no, this is not the way to do it. We already they are changing so much. America, meaning they have to change so much already from what they have been doing. Why make it more difficult for them? So what I'm thinking, the model in New York, we should create a model which is without the farming component, just with the dairy. It should be possible. Now, because this is so much related to getting $20 a gallon, that's why marketing, agrotourism, and outreach among the community would be essential. So that gets incorporated in it. Without that, it is not possible. Unless it may be possible. What I've been telling the farmers is that if you give the milk to me and you maintain the cows ethically, then I would pass on what I'm selling at $20 plus. I'll pass on to you so that you can then maintain your cows and yourself much, much better. And I'll come to that model, how to increase from one dairy to many more dairies all around Northeast. Let's see, one Bharat Prabhu is saying, why do you think conventional farmers would pick up this model? What is the main difference economical? Exactly. This is the point is that right now in Northeast, why are the dairies closing down? I don't know about Canada, but in the US, just just below the border, thousands of dairies have closed down. Hundreds and hundreds of dairies. Last few years they have closed down. And I'll show you statistics if you want. So why it has happened is because the the final, see, all the dairy farmers, they produce milk from the cows, and then milk tankers come to them. They buy from them and it goes to a processing plant. That processing plant, they process the milk, pasteurize it, or whatever they want to do it with it, and then they distribute it all around the stores. The price they get, it's a contract done for a year by these processing plants, milk processors. These price they get is it's about $3 a gallon or $3.50 a gallon, when their cost is $4 a gallon of producing. So who can survive? Like every day there is $1 a gallon they are losing. So what they do is try to subsidize it by meat. They try to subsidize by something else to make the whole farm work. So you want to say something?
Oh yeah, no, in Canada it's about $1 a gallon, $1 a liter. They get $1 a liter and they get a 20% premium on organic. So they get about $1.20 per liter.
Mm-hmm. How much is the product?
I've I'm sorry.
How much is the production cost?
Oh, I don't know the production cost, but I know that where we are, dairies are very viable. They're viable though, unless they're new. Unless they're new. So I've spoken to some dairy farmers in the area, and to start a new dairy would be impossible in our area. They can only survive on account of the grandfather clause, basically, if they already own the money or if they mortgaged their property from a long time ago. What the dairy farmers are doing, and the reason why it's becoming non-viable anymore is because of the cost of land. So somebody could not buy land at the current value of land and be able to cover the mortgage.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of speculation. So a lot of the ways that dairy farmers are trying to sustain their future now is to buy land from old farms as they become available,
Mhm.
and they actually accept to have a loss on the land for 25 years with operational loss, with
Oh.
the expectation that the value of the land will grow beyond their operational losses, so that 25 years by the time the mortgage is paid off, they're sitting on land that's maybe not mortgaged anymore because they've owned it for long enough. So if they don't have a mortgage on the land, they're viable. Um, but if they have a mortgage on the land, they're not. So
Mhm.
they're sort of leveraging the fact that they don't have a mortgage on the land they're on, buying more land uh, at a loss over the course of 25 years, but they're able to cover that mortgage. They're able to cover the loss, but the values are climbing higher than the rate of loss. Yeah, it's a bit of a complicated mess they're all in.
Mhm. So it's similar below the border. It's all boils down to people have become, they have tasted blood, so to say. By what I mean is, this consumers, they have become used to buying milk at its cruel price, which is maybe $5 here per gallon. I don't know how much it is per liter in Canada. Anyway,
The gallon is about $7
gallon. That's just much better.
Canadian. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Or
okay.
but like you said, organic is about it's almost $16 a gallon retail.
Uh-huh.
It's almost $8 for a 2 liter or 2 quart jug, organic.
1 gallon is 3.78 liters, almost 4 liters.
Yeah.
So the people have become used to buying milk at such a cheap rate, which is only possible by killing cows and killing farmers, so to say, because so many farmers have committed suicide. And so meaning so heartrending. Even dairy farmers, because they can't make it work, even in New York. I remember I was in a farmers conference, a dairy conference, and they were talking about the contract prices, all these things. I was thinking, why? It was very beginning time, like 15 years, 12, 10, 12 years back. I was thinking, what is the big deal? Because I wasn't thinking of selling contract now. So then I started understanding, oh, this is the thing. And then when guy showed me the letter he had just received from his contract processing, milk processor's contract. And in that, the whole invoice was there, the whole contract price was mentioned. And then below that, such a big like footer was there, 1-800 suicide help, like that. So I asked him, why is this suicide help mentioned? He was looking at me as if I've come from another planet, that I didn't know what's going on. And it's basically so many farmers have committed suicide after they got this letter saying that the contract price is reduced. And that happened because of the Russian war when they took over Crimea, the island Crimea from Ukraine in 2014. Because of that, Americans, they put sanctions on Russia. Russia put sanctions on American products. One of which one huge product was the milk powder, which used to go from American Midwest, huge exports, billions of dollars, something like that. They used to export to Russia, where they used to drink milk with that somehow. This is what I came to understand from them. And suddenly, that whole market for the Midwest farmers from Wisconsin and all those Iowa, Idaho, all these farmers, it just Illinois, they all got wiped out. So they needed new markets. So they started pushing milk, cheap milk, to Northeast states. And so in 2015 and 16, there was glut of milk cheaper milk than what the New York farmers can produce, because in those states they have big machinery and everything, because flat land and good land, one can produce the corn can go like 12 feet in the 12 feet tall, and it can produce so much more. And here the farmers can't produce enough corn to justify the cost of, and the cost of land is more. And so all, because here the land is up and down and valleys and mountains, so you can't have big farmlands. So because of which the price of milk is more, production price is more, so they can't keep up. That's why these milk processors thought, hey, we can get milk from Midwest much cheaper, and that's why they were reducing the contract price to keep up with the Midwest. That's why the suicide, so many. So this is the problem, the $20 thing, and we'll talk about that. But Bharat Prabhu hit upon the main thing, main point in the whole thing, which is also a great opportunity. Which he says this needs a huge market demand. Exactly. Without this huge market demand, one can't develop this model. Market demand for this kind of milk for with, and they're ready to pay this much price, which is 20 25% more than the normal, maybe 50% sometimes more than the normal price. So why would people pay that? That's where we come in. That's where we can, as devotees, we can, using that opportunity, like, reason one, the opportunity is that 65% of the, you see this, I'll show you. Let me, we did some market research and use companies to do, get some research done. And I personally also gone into this, done direct research too. And let me show you this. Okay. This is percent of purchasers who paid more because they believed label indicated higher welfare production practices. Humane on the label, if it said, then in the dairy, 67% of the population, they purchased higher welfare production. I mean, they purchased those products which had humane in the dairy. And that goes for grass fed had 61%, no antibiotics 62%, farm raised 62%, like that, no hormones 62%. It's a huge deal. Organic 68%. See, pasture raised or grass fed is like so. What we are talking about is there is a huge population who says 86% of the shoppers reported purchasing at least one product with the following labels in the last year: cage or crate feed. This is for the birds. Free range, pasture raised, natural, organic, no hormone, no antibiotic, no RBST, humane, vegetarian fed, grass fed, farm raised. 89% did so because they thought the label indicated higher welfare production practices. So there is a, and I have personally been in one of the biggest farm markets. We had a booth there, Union Square Market, and that's the biggest and most prominent farmers market in the whole of Northeast US. There's somebody. I mean, there is the Union on the Union Square. All the media, everybody comes there to see the new trends, and we had a booth there. We can again get the booth. I'm pretty sure they ask us many times to come back. I've been waiting for the dairy to be big enough that we can go there. So from that I have done personal surveys. And I know from my personal interaction, especially in the Northeast, this is a huge potential. No one has ethical dairy milk available. No one. When there is a huge demand for it. Huge. If we bring ethical dairy products with the right, like all the permits, everything mentioned, and beautiful through social media marketing, education, why, just like all these things we talked about in the beginning, about the reason why milk is important for human beings, it will be such a great like teaching preaching opportunity for us through all the Krishna conscious principles and the subsidies principles and the Vedic culture, and so much we get the opportunity to teach, talk about it. See this, will show you. There is a, a magazine called Vice. You know, Vice is pretty famous among the hip people, and so they did a feature on me, the dairy farmer who wants to make milk for vegans. And we went through all the different arguments, many of the arguments which vegans talk about. And so this is a great opportunity for us to really go toe to toe and have like real public debates, and we should have this open debate and argument about this point of cows, and why the milk is important, and we are taking we are taking the babies calves milk away from the cows. I mean, we should have this on and on and on and on, like really in a large manner in public forums on TV and different influencers, and like we go on and on and on and bring them to the farm. It's such a great opportunity for a big exposure for us, because if we are able to do that, then this is what we are meant to do, this is what we are meant to do. But also this creates a whole market of people all around, who then, not only our dairy farms, our milk, but also from our model, so many dairies around, we can show them, hey, listen, you can also do the same thing. See, we can sell your milk at this cost. If you want to sell the milk now many people are in your locality also would want this kind of a milk. See, you can also become ethical dairy. You can follow these principles that we have. See, I will show you the principles that we have, like all these principles. And we I'm thinking we should make our own label, ethical dairy label, like Gopal Farm something, so that nobody can copy it, and have these standard setup. What is ethical dairy? Calves suckle on mother's teats till 6 months old, natural weaning age. Newborn calves not separated from mother like this, but they are kept with them certain time of the day or whatever. And they're, I mean, we don't feel bottled milk. And I thought this is, but I have to figure out, talk to you, Ramananda Prabhu. Male calves not slaughtered, of course. Then they are raised as oxens, and how to have a whole oxen, whole thing, line, what they will do, not by after training. So average age of cow. So all of these, so many points are there of how to ethically take care of them. So we make um, a whole program around it, education program around it, by which gradually all the research what is required to get each and every aspect of ethical dairying become mainstream, so to say, to be accepted at even if, let's say, the whole thing falls apart, we will have research done already, and we know how everything can be maintained very well, how the breeds have to be maintained, which breeds, every single aspect of the till death and after death, all of this would be streamlined. So
Prabhu, recently, may add something?
yeah.
Just recently, I noticed in Ontario here in Canada, they introduced a grass-fed protocol, and so there's organic certification, which offers a straight across the board 20% premium on the price of the farm gate price of the milk. So anybody who can follow the organic protocol are guaranteed for that 20% premium. And recently, Canada introduced a Canada-wide grass-fed protocol with a very strict series of markers, like you're mentioning there on the spreadsheet. And anyone who could follow that protocol will get a guaranteed 10% premium on the farm gate price of their milk. So it just sounds very, very similar to that, obviously. So maybe not so obviously, but that it would be a kind of a certification with specific markers or protocols that you follow, and you get a certain premium. If you can establish like a simple or standardized protocol and a standardized premium on the farm gate price, then that can be something that's very easily transferable or promotable to other dairy farmers. You just simply follow this protocol, and we have audits, and then you get this premium. So either in Canada it's different because it's a milk cartel. It's sort of like a nationwide milk cartel, authorized by the government. It's called supply management. But in the US it's private co-ops that could adopt that basically, and maybe you could get a co-op or some dairy, maybe a processing plant on a larger scale to adopt that, promoted amongst the members of their cooperative. And
Yeah, I don't mind cooperative, but label we have to set this label standard because that is our duty to set. This is ethical, no. But
yes, yeah. So it's like another version of the either grass-fed or organic, right? It would be a new standard. It'd be ethical dairy standard
yeah,
with maybe a 50% premium or something.
yes. So that's what I have felt.
I I have a
Yeah.
few questions if now is a good time.
Hare Krishna Mata, such nice
Hare Krishna.
again. Please go ahead.
So sorry I came in a little bit late. First of all, I think that starting to give exposure to this ethical dairy concept in Union Square reminds me of how Srila Prabhupada chose New York as his pioneer first ground for bringing Krishna consciousness to everybody. And so this is really following in his footsteps. And then when you were talking about kind of subsidizing the economy of maintaining a herd with non-dairy income, I was wondering if you had looked into the fact, I mean, I don't know much about this, but I've heard that the government subsidizes dairies. Would they subsidize this type of dairy, and would looking into that or like following their requirements be even worth it? And then the other thing was, since you're already in the Ayurveda business, would it be viable or possible or practical to develop? And you also made the point that like when you're managing a dairy, that's probably the most that you can do already. So this would take like other entrepreneurs to come on board to do this part, but to market and develop medicines from your cow products, would that be another stream of income that could be really useful? Or do they have to be like different types of breeds that are maybe not as good for the dairy part? Anyway, those are my two questions. Two questions, like government subsidies and Ayurvedic medicines.
First of all, Mata, congratulations. And with your, what's the new baby's name now?
His name is Panchajanya,
Right.
and
How
he
is
makes me feel like a cow also.
Touche. So
I have a whole different view on cows after I had children. I was like, wow, this really takes a lot of energy.
Now I know who's speaking. Hare Krishna, Nilambar Mataji.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have introduced myself. I'm
No
not
problem.
so.
I knew by the name of your son, otherwise I didn't quite recognize your voice. But don't feel bad. I have a funny story to tell you about Nimai Pandit Prabhu. Maybe he doesn't want me to tell it. But we were in Montreal. He was upstairs at the restaurant preaching center, and he saw my wife Jairante walk by, and he sort of nodded his head and said, "Mother cow." That was very nice. Yeah, we all had a good chuckle on that.
I mean, I feel honored to be in a similar category as cows also. It's such a loving exchange.
yeah. Yeah, I still remember her like that with her pregnant. So blissful she used to look. I mean, I'm sure now also she looks, but at that time when I was seeing her pregnant, she looked so content. And I remember being with cows so content, no? So that's why it reminded me of her, of cows.
Yeah, sorry to distract from your questions, Mataji.
Yes, so first of all, the subsidies and such. Of course, the cows are subsidized in the manner that government gives at least the U.S. government gives a lot of grants for cows and for dairies, all kinds of dairies. We have lots and lots of access to grants, creamery, milk processing, so much. It's like we are favored children of the U.S. government. So I don't know about Canada, but here it's so many facilities. Even from New York State, we got a grant of 1 point some million dollars to develop the dairy infrastructure and ethical dairy infrastructure. You know, this model. I presented to them saying that, oh, we want to do this education and develop another model because all these dairies are closing down and we want to make milk for the vegan community, people who are for because they are compassionate vegans, and they gave this grant. This is one of the biggest grants for and this was not just for dairy or farmers, it was for infrastructure of New York State, the infrastructure grant. So one of the components, and they even gave us the it's a we have been designated as a priority project for in this region, 7 counties, one of the priority projects. So all the government permits and this and that will be much easier to overcome. So that is definitely there. Second, not like they give like money every day, like from the milk. They may also give that if there is some problems. They do that too. We haven't gotten that, but we have gotten all these grants all the time. We get grants from the government. Then the second thing which you were speaking about was about, of course, Union Square. Thank you very much. Yes, that's why I thought about New York's. I was trying, Srila Prabhupada says in India, for India, our cow protection program in India should be ideal in the world. I was doing it in India because of that. And then I realized at this time, the financial resources, the scientific research, and the exposure, the media, the infrastructure, it is much better in the US. And I want to do it in New York because of this exact reason that you said. And I was there before. So I moved all, of course, and I was getting smashed in India. And everything was getting closed up. It was so unsuccessful. I was just trying my 15 years back. So then I moved everything to New York and then trying to develop it. And I've been thinking that if we are able to develop a model here, especially with Cornell's research help too, even though they are all into other dairy, but they are ready to work with us on different other aspects, then we would be able to do it. And then the whole exposure, credibility, everything is so much more around the world for Srila Prabhupada's model. And Northeast whole by itself, and so much consumers and economic power and the compassion. 67% of the consumers want these kind of products. They're ready to pay more for it. So why not? about the medicine aspect which you're talking about, actually, I went to talk to Cornell about it. Why don't we do a research on cow dung, cow urine, develop some medicines, and especially on terms of, I was thinking human beings, it may be just too much for them right now, but at least for farming we can use, or maybe for, let's say, for cow dung, cow urine to use for like cleaning supplies and such. Whoa, it was such a huge issue. They told me this problem, the EPA will come into the picture, and so many things are there, regulatory hurdles to overcome. They can all be overcome, I'm sure, with enough research data and pressure on the government from the consumers. Everything it's achievable. I don't see any problem at all. It's a problem of us devotees trying to not having the confidence in Srila Prabhupada words and in Krishna, Govinda, who is the protector of the cows. That starts with there. That's where I keep working on myself whenever I am feeling, oh my God, this is just too much. And the second thing is that that just second obstacle is our own spiritual determination and the spiritual potency, in a sense, to become instrument. And that potency is basically to become a servant of Krishna and the devotees and the cows. And if one is simply be a servant, then that potency could come to that Krishna can work through us. If we are trying to do, I am doing it, and all these things we put in to corrupt the whole consciousness, then we can't. We'll just become limited, and so many doubts and so many things will come into our minds. This is like a spiritual whole thing. And of course, that is helped if many devotees work together on it, who want to do the same thing and want to please Srila Prabhupada and really, really want to work to make sure that the cows, and especially the poor oxen, the calves, are not brutalized like this around us in the society. So if we can work together, I'm sure we can achieve all of these goals and much, much more. I mean, since I've been doing this, all the farms, no, or like not the New Paul's farm probably, but this new farm, 200-acre, this I know for sure it has come because Krishna decided, okay, let us see what he does. Like that, he gave this farm to us, literally gave, and I know for sure in my heart and mind and my prayers, I knew why he's doing it. So cows are like auspiciousness personified, right there. They are. Whenever we serve them and we're trying to serve them, definitely all things around will come. People will saying, "Oh, you're not selling milk, such a wastage like this, and you're not doing this, you're not doing that. You have to really work." I said, "But I knew from this Krishna book that all auspiciousness is there, so it cannot fail at all. It always will be like that." So like this, I know for sure that this we will be able to, devotees will never be a loser if we work on cow protection program together. Would you like to add something, Madhu?
Thank you for answering my questions. It sounds like as far as using cow dung and cow urine, that would be quite a long journey to make it like legally certified. But here in America, people like to do illegal things just because we have a rebellious culture. So, but that's always more risky, also. Um, I was also thinking another market, but not a very big market, is a natural building market that we in Mayapur. I put cow dung on my walls, and it's quite easy to do. But I can imagine that there might be some market of people who can appreciate how nice the cow dung is uh, for like a plaster. And then you said that as far as the American government supporting cow farms, usually they they've given you a lot of grants, and that's really inspiring. So thank you for answering my questions.
I saw that room
Um,
where you had put this plaster in Mayapur.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very cooling and warm both.
Yeah, and I've heard, although I haven't looked into this myself, that it blocks the like some of the cell phone radiation.
I've heard that too. And
Yeah.
there was some study done about radiation in when there is a nuclear fallout. Somebody did a study and they found that it also absorbs these radiation particles. How much I forget now, but something was being talked about like that.
I mean, I can imagine that like cancer patients might be interested in something like that. I definitely think that the tourism side is one of the biggest sides of um, alternate income.
Hmm. Bharat Prabhu is saying could be put into paint or simply as a cow dung ash.
Mm.
Cow dung ash instead, I mean, it has the same effect, supposedly, to block radiation. And it's a little bit easier for mainstream to accept than putting cow dung on the wall, I guess.
Ash, yeah,
Yeah.
ash is good, a good thing too. So that's what, as you were saying, Mata, devotees could open new enterprises. We were talking about
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
children, anybody, I mean, they can come up with some ideas. What I really envisage what we should be doing, I want to do that, is have startup kind of culture among the children, the entrepreneur culture, where devotees say, I want to do something like this. You fan it, fan it, fan it, fan it. And if we bring it to the stage with their mindset and determination and independent nature, all that from childhood, from parents and the society, but then when it comes to some specific idea which they are getting, then fan it and provide the ecosystem and funding little bit to, just like any startup does in incubation. And we have some
Mm.
nice people, very qualified people who have promised me that they would help, who have done incubators before and tech startups and egg startups, like really qualified people. And I myself
Wow.
have been doing it to certain extent. I can help to bring it, and I'm sure after that, if they become little bigger, then the other people we can bring in to do it.
That
So
sounds very promising. Um, Thank you for sharing that.
I'm so thankful now you're back. With the, you are able to now, uh, we have so much to talk about now. Mm, yeah. So, Leo, Prabhu, you posted something. Can you explain why you posted this? Encyclopedia of World Problems and Human Potential? Oh, collecting urine, reusing urine. That's from every human being. Okay. Okay. See, cow urine is different from human urine. Cow urine is ambrosial. It is nectar. Krishna was being bathed by cow urine, as we were reading from Putna's killing. Human urine is when one touches, one needs to take bath for it. Same with cow dung too, and human body too. But there may be medicinal properties for people who are in mode of ignorance for using human urine and human dung, whichever way. Srila Prabhupada says human dung has so much of, what is it? Potassium, something he was mentioning. They were morning walk, they are laughing. He says, just see the pig, he eats cow dung, I mean human dung, and he's so fatty. Because it's very nutritious. I was just remembering today how our bodies are like, Krishna says, Yantra Yurani Maya. Our bodies are just like those juicers. You put the fruit and then it comes out all juiced out fibers. So bodies are like that. So one big question which Bharat Prabhu is asking is about what happens with Oxen. Before we get into this, anyone else has anything to add till what we have discussed?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Krishna Shuddha Prabhu, Tamil.
So yeah, one more thing actually, use of I just joined like last 10 minutes, so I'm not sure if it is already covered. So cow dung, as it was being discussed, we can also think about there's another cow dung agarbattis, or those things are also there.
In US, it may be a problem. I don't know if as soon as it is for human consumption in some manner, if it is produced in the US, I don't know how. I mean, everything has to be permitted. No? I don't know how they're going to look at it, but definitely we can. I don't mind trying to break boundaries now. Neelam Atayi, I'm also American. I also try to do it, break boundaries all the time.
I mean,
That's
I
why-
have seen cow dung for sale on Amazon. They do sell everything. They sell cow dung patties right on Amazon, just the dried ones for doing yagya.
See, it's a question of permitting, occupancy permit. So when we have a factory or something substantial, little bit more than home production, something, then town will come, county will come, health department will come. How at it? Anything meant for human consumption, not just ingestion, but for their homes, also has to meet certain standards from the some term. So that would require it to be in some manner certified that it is okay. Who, how, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure there is some law around it. In India,
Yeah.
in India, there is too. What to speak of US? And all the products which are made in India using cow dung, cow urine, and everything, medicine, everything, they're all certified from different agencies. So
Mm.
here also it would be something like this. What the thing is that home production or importing from India is no problem. You know, people just do that, no problem. Um, but when we do in a proper manner and funding and then marketing it properly, the startup for a for person to maintain themselves should be properly done. So then I don't know how it will work, but we will definitely keep going forward for going forward in it. So our Gauranga Sundar Prabhu is saying about cloth. Yes, I remember Kua Prabhu and I in 2011 we designed a paper from cow dung. You're welcome. Created one paper, and from the Jaipur there are all these recycled paper people manufacturers. They came from Egypt 300 years back. Jai Singh ji brought them, and so we tried with one person, and in this factory we were trying co-op, and then we both put our, I'd like to say we both, but I think he was the main person in this. I think I was also contributing some bit, and then we figured out a way to feed certain things to the cow, and after 4 hours later to get that kind of cow dung which is also nutritious for the cow, or with some more jaggery and like that, like this, we tried, so that finally the cow dung that we were getting, then we were running it through their system. We've got the paper, recycled paper, and so that, but it was a little thicker. We couldn't get it to be thin because of the fibers which are coming from cow dung. But I'm sure there is a way to grind it and do it and make it thinner too, and make it more production value. And cloth people are doing this work, some of the people, and plastic bags and all these. That's why I wanted to come back to US to do these technological partnership with US universities to uh, have it credibility and also really streamline these productions all around the world. So, but a New York farm, I want to do that. That requires, like with each university, around 250, $500,000. That's what the network I've been building is for that reason, with the Indian community who would feel the need, real need culturally, to really want to do it. They just want to see a proper organization and structure, and like that, to be able to give the funds to know that it will be done, and then we actually do it. And so all these different things I'm hoping we do it in New York farm. Working with US universities. Fashion clothes, yes, I remember. Even the leather, one devotee gets so upset
I'm gonna go over my sister's place too.
that he is Nimai is trying to sell cows, mother cow,
Oh,
for their
okay.
leather and this and that. And you know, it's just devotees want to just find fault. But Srila Prabhupada talks about the leather of the cow when she dies. She the chamar, the moochies, they would come and they will take the cow. They will eat the cow flesh because that's how that is allowed in the Vedic culture, even though it's more of ignorance. So Brahmana and Vaishnavas would not eat the cow meat, but it is not a sin to eat the dead cow's flesh when she is dead, and then they eat, and then they would in return they would produce all this leather, which then people would mridangas or shoes or jacket and other things they would make. People would and they will make from it and sell, and that's how they were living. And there were so many cows that it was easy living for them. So I was thinking there may be some devotees, maybe devotees or some maybe fringe people who are in more mode of ignorance, and they want to do something like that. So the cow can be utilized even in that manner. And what I was thinking even is having, instead of just having some shoes created, and this can be a great marketing opportunity because these are ethical leather then. And I even talked to a fashion designer in the fashion district in New York City, and then she was so excited. My God, if you can get me ethical leather like that, I could create these kind of jackets, which I was thinking like really make them celebrity jackets and like that, to really get high money for those costs to subsidize the whole cow protection program. So these are the thinking I was thinking about all these different, I mean, not that we do it, but different devotees in the community could, or outside the community or in the fringe and all that, they can do according to their modes and what they, so our job is to make an ecosystem where people can fit in and try to do different things with different ideas. That's the thing. Okay, so if anyone else has anything to add before we get to Ox, or maybe we take up Ox in the next, or we're only 2 hours done. We have another 1 hour to go. Nowadays we are going so long. And yes, Shuddha Sattva Prabhu.
I was about to say something, but I got distracted by Prahlad and I forgot to. I'll...
No problem. It'll come back to you. Ramananda Prabhu, you wanted to say something? You add something?
Yes, Prabhu, I just wanted to summarize my understanding a little bit, but I don't know about getting onto Oxen today. Maybe next time would be better.
Yeah.
But with regards to offshoot businesses to make the dairy concept viable, my original thoughts were perhaps in the beginning to simplify the number of offshoot variables that would be required to make the dairy viable. It'd be best to keep them to a minimum because it's just somebody doesn't want to get into, somebody would not be inspired to get into business if it just seems too complicated.
Hmm.
Perhaps maybe one or two offshoots, but it would be best to present it as a standalone viable business model, just simply based on the price that you can put on the byproducts, such as the milk. Perhaps maybe putting a price on manure could be another one. But then it made me think that all of the other ideas are fantastic ideas. And from what I can see, at least now in the modern context, that generally is something that's taken upon by other people. People tend to like to simplify their own. What do you call that? Divisions of labor, sort of thing. Like, this is my division of labor. I like to keep it simple. I like to take care of cows. I like to milk the cows, and that's about as far as I can imagine. If it depends on a lot of different other things, and that's usually when other people come in with their ideas. Oh, I can buy that and transform that, and that'll be my specialty. A little bit of specialization, That would depend on other people. But it made me think of the concept or your particular attraction or fixation or emphasis on the Varnashram College aspect, and how those research centers would be crucial to help to develop those specialties to further make the model viable.
So,
And that's how the modern sort of the U.S. economy and its universities work symbiotically.
mm,
That the universities are research centers to increase business, basically.
yeah.
I met somebody in Boston that that was working at a university, and as a PhD project, they were tasked by a big car maker to do some breakthrough in research, so that car maker could render its operations more efficient and therefore be more profitable. So it's the big corporation or companies working hand in hand with the research institutions of the United States for business opportunities.
That's what Cornell explained it to me, that if you want to get a research done, this is how much it will cost bare minimum. And this around they keep around the administrative function, they'll keep around 30 or 40% of it. And the rest goes for actual research work, 70% or 60%, 65%, which
Mm,
goes into professor and his PhD or PhD students and whatever other things that you require to make a whole budget, and yet you put like that. So, and you work with the professor to come up with the whole plan. If you want to do it on your farm, you have to bring the students, travel, this, that. So we calculate around for testing the cow urine as a cleanser, like for floor cleaning, it may cost us maybe $500,000. But
mm,
then explain that once you have this certification, you should be able to sell hundreds of millions of dollars if it is a good concept for you.
yeah.
You know? And if you can get it from another university, then it just becomes, let's say, EPA has to certify it. If Cornell has done it, and then Rutgers University does it, and some other college does it, then it just without anything they sign off on it. They don't have any more questions left. They have something, but basically, basically they take it like authorities. So generally, this is how it's been working.
That's how organic certifying bodies work. They say they have an understanding amongst each other,
Yeah,
since they're part of a system. They say, oh, okay, we don't need to audit everything because so and so has audited already, and we just accept their stamp.
exactly. Same thing. Very good point. So as far as your standalone and other offshoots is concerned, so that's where we were talking about that most farmers can't do too many things because they're already there's so much they're involved in. Even if we say no, no, bring the dairy down and do it in a whole homestead kind of way. This is how they know it's very tough for them to unless they themselves feel it. We should make it easy for just them also to have a model dairy, just milk.
Yes. Yeah.
Comes milk from them. That's all other things we are talking about is for a varnashram college setting, so that different devotees and like they can do so many other activities, and then they can learn and set it up, and then they go and do it in another farm or some other place on their own. But as a function of a varnashrama college, I was setting up thinking for the dairy cow protection program, it just stand alone also should be possible in the US one, just the milk.
How much of the model that you presented there today, how much of it depends on uh, direct to customer sales? Because let's say here we have $1 a liter price, and you said it was about $1 a quart, perhaps, or maybe a little less in the U.S. That's usually that's the farm gate price when they sell to the co-ops, and the co-ops they do the manufacturing, then they sell to the distributors, and distributors sell to the retailers, and by the time the retailer buys that same liter, it's about, $3.
So what I'm thinking is that as the thought leader and the the direction giver, what we are supposed to do, we should we should make the market, create the market, because that's an education opportunity for us. It's a huge opportunity. It's there for us to penetrate the whole American consciousness, Canadian consciousness, go into deeply why we should do. I have been thinking it has to be more refined. I've been thinking of directly, like really making it upfront in their eyes. This is the cost of the cruel milk that you're drinking. It's a cruel milk, and this is a kind milk. And like shocking, no? But it is the truth. It is coming out because of cows being treated cruelly. Most people understand it, but they kind of don't want to do it. Or if we focus on people who are vegan people who have become because of compassionate reasons, then they will accept it right away because they know it is already cruel. And now it says this is kind milk, or some other way, or some other, it will come out when we start actually doing the marketing. Probably, but whatever I have done till now, whenever I said like that, some people get really shocked what I'm saying, and some people accept it immediately. That, oh yes, that's correct. And if we can develop within them their consciousness, the reason why cows are important, especially that's why I want to build some kind of a hotel kind of thing or a farm stay places very nicely done. So people can come and stay and watch us how we are taking care of cows, we're loving the cows, how they're part and parcel of our like home basically in a sense, in a household thing. And they are not like a foreign something, they're pets in a sense. Then they start developing all these things, mode of goodness. We explain all these things. When they come here, we can do a whole classes for them. And this is how it is, like orientation class on them. But they become our consumers and spreaders in their communities once they come here. So that's how I've been thinking that we should treat that. That's like a initial introduction to case light Casey, if they're coming only for cows. And then if they come again, I mean, this like it starts the whole journey for them, just using that. So for the we need to make the market and control it with the ethical approval, like the standard label. After that, we shouldn't be producing the milk directly for them. What we if what Because for we need to control the market and the standard, because that's what we need to do, you know. But so it's more than just directly accessing the consumers, it's like the whole deal. But then if we, let's say, we our milk will not be sufficient for outside giving. We can only supply to our members who are coming to the farm and our community and other people. We all milk will almost finish off. Maybe a little more we will have, but like that. But what about this whole thing? What about all these 1,000 dairies which are there all around in New York and Vermont and Maine and other places, New Jersey, Pennsylvania? So what I've been thinking is that we go to these farmers and say, listen, your farm gate price is $3, 3.25 per gallon right now, which you give it to milk processor in the contract price. We will give you 4.5 or 4.8, like one and a half times of what you are getting right now. Why? You give the milk to us and you treat the cows in an ethical manner. They say, no, no, if we have to not kill the cows and we have to do all these things, we can't do it. You say, okay, the way I was thinking of doing it is in two facets with these people. So these people may not be directly facing the consumers, because everybody cannot do it, marketing. Most farmers are not good marketers, otherwise they would be successful already. So those farmers, I think we can give them little bit education on how to take these directly take this, implement it on your website. We can help you with that. So people come to know around you to take the milk at 850 raw milk from you at $20 a gallon, and you may be good. But whatever extra they cannot sell directly. That much we can purchase. For that milk, two structures. One option for them is either they take care of the cows after they become older and the male calves. These two. The third is, of course, is intrinsic to take care of the cows in an ethical manner and weaning and all that, because this is what the label will be all about, to train them how to do it. But the extra mouths to feed, which is older cows and the male calves, if they keep, they get more money. If they don't keep, they give it to us. We give them only this 1.5 times of the milk price. Why? Because we will say we have to take care of that milk. So how I was thinking of doing it is, let's say we get a milk from them at like 100 gallons a day we are getting. So $4.50 is the price which they are supposed to get. What we do is, when we sell the milk, let's say at $20, we save $2 from that 100 gallons. So $200 we save into a new trust we make in the name of the farm, but the beneficiary will be those cows of the farm, the older cows and male calves, with three trustees. Us as one of the executors. Second is them, the farmer. Third is some independent bank, or somebody will talk to some organization which is very reputed, who are financially astute and who can maybe even help to invest that money in some retirement funds or like that, where the money can be nicely invested and they can execute. They do these kind of things regularly. Because there are many trusts and they are executors of the trust. The regular function it is, they will manage hundreds trust also. They have infrastructure to manage and laws and everything regarding how to manage trustees. So that professional people like that. So these three trustees we manage, and so they are sure that the money is coming for their cows, for them to take care of their cows later on. If they don't manage it, then that money is transferred to us. See, that's how I was thinking. To us meaning for the purpose of, for us to implement to what we were talking about, to buy another farm for another dairy or something in combination with other dairy, the older dairies which we are talking about, for retirement of these cows and calves. So this is how I was thinking. Those people who cannot market it and all these other dairies, we can involve them through these gate prices. For us, it is possible to pay this much if we are able to sell through our marketing, through our education, through our awareness raising, through our behavior, and how much we are able to go on all the media all around Northeast in airwaves, and through a lot of these influencers, the vegan community, the celebrities, so many are there, media, like print media and all. I am sure I can go into any print media. Even today, New York Times wanted to do an article, until we start, we cannot do it. Wise did it. So many other articles have been published already when we have not even really started. So I'm sure print media will follow, because this is a consumer angle which is really required. Other people don't know how to use it. We should be able to use and really make a real splash and real substantial, based on real substantial work. Oh,
Sorry. Can you hear me?
so
Oh, I'm sorry. I turned it on by accident. Sorry. What did I do here?
it's okay.
Okay. Yeah. So no, I'm thinking about just thinking about the other farmers. You know, you mentioned the other, to engage other farmers, and I'm sort of at the same time as you're mentioning other farmers, I'm picturing our own children. because they would need, some of them will need occupations, obviously. Everybody needs occupations. So it could be could it be, my original question was, how much does the model that you're presenting depend on direct to customer selling? And from what you said, it sounded like that you definitely took into account that most of the farmers can't really consume themselves with marketing the milk
Yeah.
themselves. Actually, in Canada, they call the government mandated co-op the Milk Marketing Board. They generally accept that the farmers are not marketers. They're farmers. Some of them become their own marketers, maybe because they just happen to have a little more of a mind for that. But even in any company, you have a group of 3 people, or somebody specializes in marketing, somebody's business development, somebody is just operations. So the farmers. So I was just curious to know if your model accounted for somebody who were to show up and want to be a participant, like a devotee or a devotee child, and say, is this viable for me if I were to just produce the milk and make and let somebody else sort of market it for me? Or I must be a marketeer to what extent do I have to be a marketeer also at the same time? And then I guess the question of land pricing, it was a thought that I had much earlier, that it's a reality that faces a lot of farmers all the time. It's like a really dynamic thing. I've spoken to many farmers where, for one instance, in the 1970s, a lot of Swiss, Dutch, and German dairy farmers came to this area of Canada between Montreal and Ottawa, and they were able to buy and develop dairy farms here because land was cheap at the time. Now land is I called the local milk marketing board, and I presented them, because here in Canada you're not allowed to sell milk unless you buy quotas.
Yeah.
You have so, and the minimum that they allow is 24, and a quota is about $20,000 or 20, 30, maybe $30,000. So you have to get a loan for about $500,000 or $600,000 just to have the right to begin, selling. But then you're mandated to produce a certain amount per quota, and then you're guaranteed a certain price per quota. But I called and I said, because I was thinking about this, doing an ethical sort of dairy, and being the producer and marketer in cooperation with a business partner that I have. And they said, where do you want to make your farm? I said, oh, in this area called Montérégie. And they said, you want to start a farm? You want to start a dairy farm in Montérégie? And she said, no. It was just laughable because of the price of land. There are no startup dairy businesses possible in this neighborhood. It's only like I explained before, the grandfather clause. If you own the property already, because they bought it in 1970, the mortgage is paid now, then maybe you can buy more land and then subsidize it so that 25 years from now, when the milk price is higher, that's paid off, something like that. There can be growth potential maybe, but in any case, so I talked to other people. They moved out to a different neighborhood when the Swiss came in, and they started a bigger farm in another neighborhood where it was cheaper. So they took advantage of all the Swiss coming in this area to go get a bigger farm. And so I know that farmers, not only dairy farmers, but every farmer, they're always on the move. Whenever they have children, then there's the prerogative for growth is always there. And so I know a dairy farmer in Quebec, and they have cousins out in Alberta, near Edmonton, and they're having children. And then now because the children want to stay in the business, but they can't afford the land where they are out in Edmonton. So now they're thinking of moving to Saskatchewan because land is cheaper in Saskatchewan. So it's like a permanent concern of where to find the next sort of frontier where land is less, land is cheap, and you sort of have to move to where it's now viable according to land prices, for whatever business is going on, especially with expansions of family. So I'm wondering, so for in New York, you were saying the land is fairly expensive, correct?
Not really.
Compared to Wisconsin, let's say,
Yeah.
because you said Wisconsin has, large swaths of land, and it's really good land, whereas New York is kind of rocky. It's really only good for pasturing.
Yeah.
So you can't get the same number of calories per acre, so to
Yeah.
speak, from
Yeah.
New York, but because it shouldn't be very valuable, but it's very valuable because it's close to population centers.
Yes. That's
So
right.
normally, under normal circumstances, like a dairy in New York would not really be very viable anymore,
No,
because
it's
all the
very
land is
good.
so close to people with tons of money,
Yeah.
and the land is not even very good.
Yeah.
But so you were talking about getting these other farmers to sort of get on board, and it would work for them because they're sort of already grandfathered in with unmortgaged land.
Yeah. More or less.
Okay, so would there be any scope for descendants from village residents to buy land locally and participate in as like a contributing member of the cooperative, producing milk and so on,
So,
or would they have to sort of move to cheaper areas?
so, Babu, I see all these are practical considerations, and thank you for explaining it in so much detail. It is very good to know. One is for non-devotees who are bound by the karma. For them, this is how it is. What you have just explained, this is how it is. For devotees, they are not bound by the karma, but by their desire and Krishna's desire. So I don't see any obstacle for devotees because of this. So let's say devotee children, they really want to do it, they want to please Krishna. If it is devotees also, they want to do only their maintenance, more or less they become bound by the karma, but it it can be increased to some extent by Krishna and subsidized by Krishna and make it, it'll be enough for them. But if they want to please Srila Prabhupada and Krishna more than just maintaining their family, Krishna conscious family, then more and more one comes above, that's our Krishna conscious, more and more one comes above the limitation placed by this material world. And that's been my thinking, that there is no obstacle at all. Whatever it is, one just has to tilt one's head and like that and just go around it. And Krishna will always figure out a way to make it work. Whether it is $1 million an acre or $10 an acre, whatever it is not a problem, for devotees, because Krishna, it is our father's land. It's like he's sitting right there. We're working for him. It's like it's his land to give to us to do it. And I have experienced it myself. This is what Srila Prabhupada keeps saying. So I do not know how, but some way or the other, it always devotee will figure out a way. And our duty is to help them, if we are able to help them be empowered servants of the Lord, so that they can do it. Otherwise, let's say if they are not, and they are Krishna conscious, and they are wanting to do it, many of those laws which you are talking about will apply. So then they have to struggle more, because that's how the world works. But still Krishna will always show them a way, even if they have to go to Saskatchewan, they will make a community there, and like that it will happen. Some different ways which they could try is using the farm real estate, because the property prices are increasing. You use that, maybe subdivide a couple of land out and sell it to some devotee or something, so that there is extra money to pay for the land, and like that. What one of the ways I was thinking is let's say, or we are saving 10%, and then in 5 years something we will have to get another land from, for the older cows and some oxen that we are not able to no, do something with, make them productive. So that land somebody has to manage, which we buy. We can give that land in a trust or something to a farmer to run, or give the deed in the name of the farmer, but say these are the conditions, because our trust is actually donating it to you. So these are the conditions, that you will keep the older cows. So this is the mandate. If you can, you do it, then this farm is yours and it will be in your name and you can make money out of it, but it will be limited, because you understand, it's a retirement farm rather than another dairy farm, which with just like what we are talking about. So this is another manner in which we can keep multiplying like that, and then they can, with that base, they could use it to get another land nearby or something, or some because so many farms, they are on lease available, because otherwise they'll close down because they aren't working. So those kind of farms may be available to do. At least many of the farms, older farms, when one is getting, the whole dairy aspect will not be used. So one could get, especially in the US, land, because you see, as you are saying, population centers are nearby, land is not so good, so farms are not so viable, but the people are buying land. So, but they don't want to use the land; they want to use the house on a big land, you know. So, but they don't, they have to maintain the land and everything. So a lot of these, we call them gentlemen farmers, they are ready to lease their land to farmers, because they get tax breaks, property tax breaks, and also somebody is there to maintain. And it looks good when there are hay bales piled up on the farm. Ah, it's such a nice feeling one gets. So, and cows are pasturing or something. So they lease the land easily. But the cow, dairying facility has to be one's own. The house has to be one's own. Family can live. So something like a combination one could do in these replicating farms, which is coming out from the 10% savings, which would be where retirement farm is there, but the dairy processing, everything is empty, not being utilized. One can lease land all around, those like children of devotees, they can lease land all around and utilize this to manage their family, in additionally the to the income from the retirement farm which is happening.
Jai, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for that elaborate description. I understand. I understand. You're saying it reminds me of the Narayan Higgins in Hawaii, how he's able to maintain so many cows on leased land from so many people that are not using it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of
I'm
that.
not aware now, but this is, yeah, this is what I planned out near our New York farm to lease.
Yeah.
And we have haying equipment, so we should be able to go and cut hay bales everywhere to mow the to hay, and bring the hay and store it on our land and feed all the cows throughout the winter. Like that, more cows than our land can sustain by leasing. Yeah.
And
Yeah, we have to be a little creative, and the opportunities can be available even under normal circumstances. And then you're saying that we have the extra added benefit of having Krishna on our side for his for his beloved devotees.
Yeah.
That's a layman's version of it.
Yes,
So, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Actually, I was thinking, Prabhu, because we are near to New York and all the factors, so we can act as a franchisee for marketing also, right? So, see, our model can be replicated at various places, and we can give a franchisee to them so that the farmers don't have to remarket the same brand. They can reuse, provided they are following the entire layout what we have done, no cow killing and all those things. So this can be replicated across entire country.
right. So the way, how they do it in the dairy world,
Mhm.
what they'll do is they'll make a label, and the marketer is whoever is doing it, and then people will sell to them the milk. So the processing, so it's not like you produce it, you process it, and you sell it and distribute it.
No, but why can't we do that way? That we
I'll
will
tell you
give our,
that.
yeah.
Fine, fine. What happens is that milk processing, no,
Hmm.
is a very highly regulated and capital intensive and centralized process. So all the milk from many places would come into one place. It is
Hmm.
centralized like that. If we don't do that, then the costs are very high in distribution and processing and everything. So individual farmers, they can't do this thing to get it to market. So that's why this whoever is doing that, they label it and distribute it. So that's what we should do. Is a like we should do, or we can our like if a co-op is doing it, then they can do it. But marketing, we have to separate it little bit. Could be,
Yes.
but the processing I mean, individual farmers definitely cannot do this. Marketing and processing and distribution, they cannot. It's not
Hmm.
economically possible at all. Permits, everything is just unimaginable. It's not possible.
So you are suggesting that processing is the main challenge.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay, not just the marketing.
the processing and distribution, because the margins are so less in milk right now,
Mhm.
that distribution also has to be very efficiently managed from the farms to the processing center to the distribution into the stores. So that has to be also managed. So any new labels which have come out, I've been closely watching them. The new Maple Hill Dairy came out. There is a Mataji who is there, and some things I've learned from her and from people who come to the exhib conference exhibition stalls and like that. All this I picked up gradually from that this is what they are doing. They have to maintain the label and the processing and the distribution, and without that it will fail, that whole brand. So we have to be the like holder of the brand and the processing and everything. We can lease the processing equipment from another processor, but we have to organize it so that, because if it's organic and it's a conventional processor, they have to clean the whole lines first, and they can do it only once or twice a week or like something like that. So and it's cost involved and everything. I talked to a couple of processors, they're open to it, but it depends on so many factors, how much quantity, how many times, where do they have to store it, what certification do we need? Because all that milk has to mix with it. Anyway, so
But Prabhu, then this distribution processing has to be have a region specific. We can definitely you can,
like that,
eh,
region specific. Yeah.
yeah, but again, a region has to be limited by certain areas also, right? We, let's say we are in New York, we can maximum support tri-state or some neighboring state, but we can
What
support,
we can do, 4 or 5 hours we can do it.
yes, but we cannot support something in the Midwest or extreme
No,
West, right?
separate regions. Like even now, with all this efficiency and everything, still it is like this. Even now, you will see go in your New Jersey store. like any other, you'll see where it is being processed, it's all around 3, 4, 5 hours. Because the delivery costs are high.
So as of now, the working model, what we have seen is one from Gita Nagari, but any other model you are aware of, Prabhu?
There's no working model in Gita Nagari. It's donation based. It's not a working model. No, you can't expand it. Even they are having difficulties financially because they have 60 cows, 80 cows not producing, 20 cows producing. Because they don't know what to do with their older cows. They don't know what to do with their male cows. So they cannot sustain it. That's why they have to take donations, which is not Krishna is saying. Krishna is not telling to take donations to support cows. No. He's giving it to the Vaishyas to make a business.
Yeah. So another approach is to create a tourism around.
Right. We went through the whole Excel file when you were in there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We went through the
Yeah, I'll
whole
go through the video maybe later once you upload.
the basics of the model. We know will work, except with so many details will change here, there, this way, that way, which is expected, and as time goes by also it will change, and devotees will come up with better ideas and everything, but it is a good starting point for us to do it and go forward, at least making something with it. Okay. Any other points? All nice points. Very good discussion. Very good feedback. Anyone else?
So I'm just thinking that if there is no working model, so we'll be if in US as of now on dairy.
First meaning Krishna was the first. He is showing a working model, and it has been going on for millions of years, as Srila Prabhupada says, from beginning of history. So right now we can do a little portion of it and think we are the first like that. Maybe we can think like that, but it's like only a little light portion we could do in this Kali Yuga, and we'll see that it will have a lot of faults. Prabhupada says, no, Krishna and Balrama were farm acharyas. So they've already shown by example how to do it. Okay, let's finish. So next week, let's take up the next part of it. Maybe some other points, issues may be there from this, questions and discussion points may come up. So at beginning, we could spend time like all these thoughts which have come up and new ideas. And then let's take up the oxen part, which is a really big part of it. Many times 50% of the offspring will be male calves. So what to do about oxen? About male calves, bulls, oxen, all these, whether they should be made oxen or not. Okay, we'll finish here. Hey, Ramananda Prabhu, were you able to go through this the video which I presented to Nyaya?
Oh, I haven't watched it yet. I'll watch it today.
Okay, great. Do that.
Yep,
Everyone,
thank you
please
for
give
that.
us feedback. Okay.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
All
Prabhu.
glory to Srila
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada.
All glory to the Prabhupada.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Hare Krishna.